Dyan from Ranger and I'm here with Scrapbook Expo. I'm going to give you one of my inked backgrounds. Okay, so first of all, these are my inks, the Dilution inks. I'm just going to use 3 colours. I always use 3 colours. These are 3 from the warm selection and I'm working in the big journal. I'm going to use water. I like to use water because it makes the inks blend as soon as they hit. I'm going to take the lightest colour and I make a puddle of ink and then I make another puddle of ink. This is a puddle. If it's running, it's a puddle. If it's not running, it's just a spray. So I take another colour, make 2 more puddles of ink, and then I just fill in with the 3rd colour of ink. Lots and lots of ink. I then add more water over the top. Because I'm just doing 1 page, I've torn a page out of my journal earlier and I'm just going to press that over the top to transfer the ink onto that side. Then going to take my kitchen roll and just roll it straight over the top. So that's the first thing I do, so I get a really nice blend of ink. Then I'm going to do some ghosting backgrounds. My inks are made with a retardant in them so that you can lift the colour out when you're working with them. So I'm going to place part of my stencil over the wrong colour. Great. I'm going to use that bit over there. I'm going to take part of the stencil over the top and just spritz with water. I've got water on my stencil as well, so what I always do is I flip it over, press it down. So where I went through the stencil and got the positive image, you can see how it's lifted the ink out. Where I turned it over here, you've got the negative image. And this is fine. All we're doing is we're creating layers, we're making backgrounds. I clean everything up in my journal, as you can see. So anything that's left on a stencil just gets pressed off into the journal for another page, and I'll just start another page as we go. So once you've added some ghosting on there, I'm going to add a little bit more on here actually. I'm going to do this stencil and then I'm going to flip it over here. And the ghosting, people said you have to do it straight away. No, you can do it straight away when it's wet, you can do it when it's dry, you can do it today, tomorrow, next week, because the inks are not permanent. So you can see we've got this lovely ghosted image now. So this I need to dry. Normally I would just turn to another page in my book, do another one. By the time I come back to this, it's dry, but I'm going to just give it a quick dry today. Okay, the reason that I was drying it was because if I go to spray more ink on top and the ink is wet, it will just bleed, and I want a nice crisp finish. So I'm going to take one of the stencils again, and whenever I'm doing backgrounds, I stay with the same colour inks. So I've used these 3 inks in the background, and whatever I put on the top, I'm going to use, and then it's all coordinated. A background is called a background because it's in the background, and people forget that and they put all bright new colours in. So we just stick with these. So I'm going to take the paler one, just give a light spritz through the stencil. Again, I've got ink on the stencil. I'm going to flip it over because it's all about just creating texture on there. So I've flipped through again, blot with the kitchen roll. This goes in the journal somewhere else. You can see my journal is just full of cleanups. So you get pages going all the time. I'm then going to maybe go to this one. We'll go for snowflakes, and I'm going to go with another colour, and I'm just going to spritz, flip. This is what we call it, the spritz, flip, spritz. So you can see all the layers are now building up there, but nothing is standing out. Nothing is just pulling your eye into it. Everything's got equal space, and you can just see them all building up. So what you can also do as well, all my inks are translucent and they can build up all together apart from my white linen. My white linen is a semi-opaque. This means that it's got pigment in. Now pigment will drop to the bottom of your bottle. So my tip for this is if you store it on its side, so whenever you pick the bottle up, if you forget to shake it, it will just spray. Otherwise you'll suck pigment up and you'll think it's broken. So you need to give it a shake. It's got a ball bearing in. And then because it's semi-translucent, it will pick up the colour of the ink that's underneath there. So I'm just going to give it a light spritz. Give it a light spritz there. So at the moment it's white, but what will happen is it will break, the colour will come through and it'll turn a lovely pink. I'm just going to press this off over onto this one. Every time when I'm working, I end up with about 3 or 4 things because I'm always prepping. It's very organic, and then you've always got something else that you can move on to. So can you see here how it's changing colour now? It's picking up the oranges, it's very, very subtle. Unfortunately, not like me. I try to think I'm subtle, but it doesn't work. So, and I'm just going to pop those on the top as well. The white is also nice to I just spritz them on the mat, and I take whatever I've got. It's a paper cup here. and I'm just going to add some circles onto there. It's about having fun and playing. It's not about the end result. It's just enjoying yourself. If you enjoy yourself and it's not that good at the end, who cares? It doesn't really matter. You just pick it up, you flick, you play. As you can see, I just play, I just have fun. Just press that down. I'm going to add some black on top as well. Don't be frightened of black. Black unifies everything together. All my colours are really, really bright. And if you don't have something to bring them together, that's when it can look a little bit startling. So I'm just going to add some more. And you can see there's nothing difficult. I don't do anything that's difficult. Everything's easy, and it's just layer by layer. Even the blots work. So that is a typical background that I would do. And then I'm just going to add some stamped leaves on the top. So this is from one of my leaf sets. Just going to take the leaf here, and I'm going to stamp in black. Like I said earlier, black will make all the colours pop. So I'm going to ink it up in black, and I'm just going to start from the top, and I'm going to re-ink the stamp every time as I come down and as I come across. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid back onto the ink, and this is still wet. And again, I don't clean anything because this you can use. So if you come along here and you just lightly clean your stamp onto the actual page, I end up with a clean stamp, and I end up with all this background stamping on here as well. So it looks as though you're really, really clever. So there you go, background stamping. Thank you.